Korriban, the ancient and desolate homeworld of the Sith, is a planet shrouded in millennia of dark secrets and ancient histories. This barren, red-hued world, located on the edge of known space, has long been associated with the most powerful and dangerous forces of the dark side. In the distant past, it was the cradle of the Sith species, a proud, warrior-like race with an intrinsic connection to the dark side. But it wasn't until the arrival of exiled Jedi that Korriban transformed into the origin point for what would become the Sith Order, a collective steeped in dark power, arcane rituals, and an unrelenting desire for conquest. Korriban's landscape is harsh and unyielding. Its rocky terrain is punctuated by deep canyons, wind-swept valleys, and jagged mountains, all of which seem to mirror the hostile and treacherous nature of its inhabitants. The sky above is perpetually tinged with an ominous crimson glow, as though even the sun is corrupted by the dark side energy permeating the planet. The planet's climate is unforgiving, with brutal sandstorms that whip across the surface and temperatures that fluctuate dramatically between day and night. This harsh environment shaped the Sith into a resilient and fierce people, instilling within them a code of survival that would define the Sith philosophy for generations. The native Sith species, known for their red skin and distinctive bone spurs, lived in clans scattered across the planet. They were a deeply spiritual people who worshipped the dark side as a natural force, one that was woven into the fabric of their world. Their society was structured around a hierarchy dominated by those who wielded the most power, both physical and mystical. Leaders were often selected based on their ability to harness the dark side, with the strongest Sith ruling as warlords or shamans. These rulers commanded respect and fear, guiding their clans through ancient rites and blood rituals meant to appease the dark gods they believed dwelled within Korriban's depths. The Sith species practiced a primal, ritualistic form of magic, using amulets and runes to amplify their connection to the dark side. They believed that Korriban itself was alive with dark energy, and they constructed temples and shrines to honor and tap into this energy. These sites became focal points of power, where the air itself was thick with malevolent force. Legends speak of spirits bound to these locations, ancient Sith who had perished but whose essence remained, a dark testament to their influence and their refusal to fade into oblivion. Over time, these places of worship would attract those drawn to the dark side, even from beyond the galaxy, creating a foundation that would lead to the planet's future as the Sith Order's spiritual home. It was thousands of years after the Sith species had established their own dark civilization that Jedi exiles, banished for their experimentation with forbidden knowledge, stumbled upon Korriban. These fallen Jedi had been cast out from the Republic and the Jedi Order for their pursuit of power beyond the light, and their desire to harness emotions as a path to strength. Drawn to the dark side and in search of a place to continue their studies without restraint, these exiles arrived on Korriban and discovered a world already resonant with dark energy. The native Sith initially saw the Jedi as foreign invaders, but over time the exiles and the Sith formed an alliance born of mutual fascination and shared ambitions. Through their union, the Sith Order, as it is known in galactic lore, was born a fusion of ancient Sith mysticism and Jedi knowledge corrupted by the dark side. The Jedi exiles brought with them knowledge of the Force, which they shared with the native Sith, blending Sith sorcery with the sophisticated understanding of the Force that the Jedi had mastered. This union marked the beginning of a new Sith philosophy, a belief in the pursuit of power without limits, achieved through mastery of the dark side. The Sith abandoned the self-imposed restrictions that the Jedi adhered to, instead embracing their passions, anger, and ambition as sources of strength. Under the guidance of these exiled Jedi, the Sith developed new techniques and philosophies centered around dominance, control, and survival of the fittest. The Sith Code, a manifesto that would shape Sith ideology for millennia, was written during this time, emphasizing that peace is a lie, there is only passion, a statement of defiance against the Jedi teachings of restraint. With the rise of the Sith Order, Korriban became the training ground for future generations of Sith Lords. Temples, tombs, and academies were erected across the planet, and it was here that apprentices learned the ways of the dark side, often through brutal and ruthless methods. The Sith academies encouraged competition, fostering an environment where only the strongest could survive, and where betrayal and treachery were not only expected but encouraged. In these academies, prospective Sith were taught to channel their emotions into raw power, unlocking destructive abilities that could level armies and shatter planets. It was a place where weakness meant death, and power was the only measure of worth. The most significant structures on Korriban were the grand tombs constructed to honor the greatest Sith Lords. These tombs were not only resting places but also monuments to their power, designed to preserve their essence for eternity. Many Sith believed that their spirits could live on within these tombs, bound to the dark side energy that saturated the planet. These crypts became sacred sites, revered by future Sith who sought to commune with the spirits of their ancient predecessors. The tombs were elaborate, often guarded by traps, curses, and dark side creatures, protecting the treasures and knowledge buried within. For an apprentice to enter a tomb was both a rite of passage and a perilous test, as the ghosts of the Sith Lords were not always benevolent to those who sought to disturb their eternal rest. Among the most infamous of these tombs is that of Ajunta Pall, one of the earliest Dark Jedi to settle on Korriban, and who is often regarded as the first Sith Lord. Ajunta Pall's tomb became a place of legend, rumored to contain relics of immense power and forbidden knowledge. His spirit, like that of many other Sith, is said to haunt the tomb, watching over the place where his remains lie. Those who dared to enter his tomb faced trials designed to test their resolve and strength, with the specter of Paul himself rumored to judge those who proved unworthy. Such tales of haunted tombs and lingering spirits only added to the aura of dread that surrounded Korriban, reinforcing the belief that those who fell to the dark side were destined to remain forever bound to it. Over the centuries, Korriban became synonymous with Sith power, a place where aspiring Sith Lords would make pilgrimages to prove their devotion to the dark side. As the Sith Order flourished on Korriban, the planet evolved into a focal point for dark knowledge and brutal power struggles. With every generation, the Sith grew stronger, honing their mastery over the dark side and further shaping Korriban's legacy. Sith apprentices would embark on harrowing journeys across the barren deserts and through the desolate ruins, seeking to prove their worth to their masters. Often, only the most ruthless and ambitious would survive. This culture of survivalism bred a unique kind of Sith Lord, those who possessed not only great power but also the cunning to manipulate and dominate others in their relentless quest for supremacy. In this crucible of ambition and hatred, the Sith Order began to take shape as a galaxy-spanning threat. The planet's dark side energy also began to draw the attention of curious Jedi who sensed disturbances in the Force emanating from Korriban. Some Jedi scholars even attempted to investigate the ancient tombs in the hopes of learning more about the lost Jedi who had fallen to darkness centuries earlier. However, most of these expeditions ended in disaster, as the dark side energies within Korriban's depths would twist the minds of those unprepared to face them. Few Jedi returned unscathed, often tormented by the malevolent spirits that haunted the tombs. Stories of Jedi who succumbed to the darkness on Korriban further cemented the planet's reputation as a place where only the strongest could survive, and where the dark side reigned supreme. As the Sith Order expanded, Korriban became the birthplace of many infamous Sith Lords whose deeds would echo throughout galactic history. One of the most powerful was Marka Ragnos, a Dark Lord who ruled the Sith Empire during a period of great strength and stability. Ragnos was a master of sorcery, known for his command over ancient Sith magic and rituals that could manipulate life and death itself. Under his rule, the Sith Empire grew both in size and in strength, as Ragnos maintained control through fear and intimidation. His death, however, triggered a bloody power struggle that would come to define the Sith, as much as their quest for domination their penchant for infighting, which often weakened their unity. The rivalry between two of Ragnos's followers, Ludo Kresh and Naga Sato, became legendary, exemplifying the volatile nature of Sith succession. Kresh believed in consolidating Sith power on Korriban, focusing on maintaining their strength and traditions. Sato, however, was ambitious and sought to expand the Sith Empire by launching an invasion of the Republic. This conflict between conservatism and ambition is emblematic of the Sith philosophy, where visions of power and conquest often clash with the need to protect and preserve their knowledge. Their battle ultimately resulted in Sato's ascension as Dark Lord, leading the Sith Empire to launch an audacious war against the Republic, a conflict that would later be known as the Great Hyperspace War. The Great Hyperspace War saw Korriban at the center of a galactic-scale conflict, as Sith forces under Naga Sato unleashed the full fury of the dark side against the Republic. Sato used the arcane powers he had mastered on Korriban to create illusions and manipulate his enemies, spreading fear and chaos throughout the Republic. However, despite his cunning and the strength of the Sith forces, the Republic ultimately prevailed, leading to the near destruction of the Sith Empire. In the aftermath of the war, Korriban was left abandoned, its temples and tombs falling into ruin. But even in this desolation, the power of the dark side remained. The spirits of fallen Sith Lords lingered in the tombs, and the planet continued to be a place where the dark side thrived, awaiting those who would dare to seek its secrets. Centuries passed, and though the Sith Empire had collapsed, the legacy of Korriban endured. The planet became a myth, a whispered legend among dark practitioners and rogue force users who sought to tap into its ancient power. Occasionally, remnants of the Sith would return to Korriban, hoping to revive the Order. One such resurgence came under the leadership of Darth Revan and Darth Malak, two former Jedi who had turned to the dark side and sought the power of the ancient Sith to fuel their conquest of the galaxy. Revan and Malak's rediscovery of Korriban reinvigorated the Sith tradition, as they reopened the tombs and restored the Sith Academy, recruiting and training a new generation of Sith apprentices. The cycle of Sith rebirth on Korriban continued, with each new attempt to revive the Sith leaving behind ruins and echoes of those who had come before. The Sith Academy established by Revan and Malak became a place of brutal education in the dark side, a school where students were pitted against one another in a relentless struggle for dominance. The Academy instructors promoted a philosophy of strength through conflict, teaching their students that only the strongest, most ruthless, and most cunning could rise within the Sith Order. This tradition continued through the era of Darth Malgus and the reconstituted Sith Empire, where the Academy served as a proving ground for the Empire's most promising Sith acolytes. Many of the galaxy's most infamous Sith Lords trained on Korriban, emerging from the Academy with an unbreakable loyalty to the dark side and a thirst for power that could not be quenched. Korriban's significance continued to resonate as a place of Sith pilgrimage. Darth Bane, the architect of the Rule of Two, journeyed to Korriban as he developed his philosophy for a new Sith Order. Bane believed that the endless infighting among the Sith had been their downfall, and he sought to change this by limiting the Sith to two, a master and an apprentice. During his time on Korriban, Bane studied the teachings of the ancient Sith Lords, drawing inspiration from their tombs and holocrons to craft a new vision for the Sith. This Rule of Two would ensure that the Sith remained hidden from the Jedi, growing stronger in secrecy until they could strike decisively. Darth Bane's time on Korriban marked a pivotal shift in Sith ideology as he implemented the Rule of Two, a departure from the chaotic Sith hierarchies of the past. Bane believed that limiting the Sith to a master and apprentice would prevent the self-destructive cycles of infighting that had historically weakened the Sith Order. On Korriban, Bane communed with the spirits of ancient Sith Lords, seeking their wisdom and learning from their triumphs and failures. The tombs and holocrons of Korriban became a treasure trove of dark knowledge, enabling Bane to refine his plans for the Sith's future. He harnessed their teachings, blending ancient Sith sorcery with his own ruthless philosophy to ensure the survival and eventual resurgence of the Sith. Bane's actions on Korriban laid the foundation for the Sith's resurgence and their eventual infiltration of the Republic, leading to a new age of darkness in galactic history. As the centuries passed, Korriban's reputation as a place of Sith power grew. It became a legend, a dark symbol of Sith might that lingered in the shadows of the galaxy. Even the Jedi Order recognized the threat posed by Korriban, and they often warned their members about the dangers of the dark side and the pull of Korriban's ancient secrets. However, the Sith were patient, adhering to Bane's Rule of Two, working in the shadows and biding their time. With each new apprentice, the Sith legacy of Korriban was passed down, and the dark knowledge preserved within the tombs continued to influence the Sith in subtle but powerful ways. The tombs and ruins of Korriban did not remain undisturbed. During the reign of Darth Sidious, the Sith Emperor who orchestrated the fall of the Jedi and the rise of the Galactic Empire, Korriban retained its significance as a place of deep dark side power. Sidious, known to the galaxy as Emperor Palpatine, had learned much from the ancient Sith teachings, drawing upon the dark knowledge buried on Korriban to strengthen his power. Sidious understood the importance of Korriban's history and the lessons it held for the Sith Order. He delved into the secrets of the ancient Sith, discovering forbidden techniques and powers that he would use to ensure his dominance over the galaxy. Though Sidious rarely returned to Korriban himself, the influence of the ancient Sith Lords remained woven into the fabric of his empire. Sidious's own apprentice, Darth Vader, was shaped by Sith philosophies that had been refined over centuries. While Vader's own journey did not lead him to Korriban, the power and knowledge that originated there had reached him through the teachings passed down by Sidious. The spirit of Korriban, the dark legacy of the Sith, was very much alive in the empire that held the galaxy in a grip of fear and oppression. In the years following the fall of the Empire, Korriban continued to call to those sensitive to the dark side, drawing dark side acolytes, fallen Jedi, and rogue Force users alike. Its tombs and temples became sites of pilgrimage for those who sought the power of the ancient Sith Lords, even as the Jedi Order attempted to rebuild and re-establish the light in the galaxy. Korriban's allure was as potent as ever, a place where the legacy of the dark side thrived despite the shifting tides of galactic politics. For many who followed the dark path, the journey to Korriban was a rite of passage, an essential step in their pursuit of Sith knowledge and mastery. Years after the fall of the Empire, the Jedi began to uncover artifacts and remnants of the Sith Order on Korriban, attempting to piece together the history of their ancient enemies. Jedi scholars and researchers ventured to Korriban, hoping to understand the Sith through their relics, but the dark side remained a powerful and dangerous force on the planet. Many Jedi found themselves tested by the dark side energies that still lingered within the ancient tombs. Some were drawn to the power, tempted to forsake the Jedi path in favor of the darkness that permeated Korriban. Only those with unwavering resolve could resist the planet's pull, leaving the tombs scarred by what they had encountered. In the new Jedi Order, Korriban remained a place of warning, a symbol of the dangers of the dark side. The Jedi sought to understand the Sith not out of curiosity, but to prevent their resurgence. However, despite their efforts, the spirit of the Sith remained resilient. Korriban continued to be a place of pilgrimage for those who felt the call of the dark side, even as the Jedi sought to erase its influence from galactic memory. The ancient tombs, filled with artifacts and teachings of long-dead Sith Lords, served as reminders of the Sith's enduring legacy and the resilience of the dark side. Ultimately, Korriban's history stands as a testament to the power and danger of the Sith. It is a place where knowledge and darkness are eternally intertwined, where the spirits of ancient Sith Lords whisper to those bold enough to seek their counsel. Even in ruins, Korriban remains an indelible part of Sith history, a dark heart that continues to beat beneath the sands. For as long as the dark side exists, Korriban will remain a homeworld that refuses to be forgotten, a testament to the ancient powers that shaped the destiny of the Sith and left an indelible mark on the galaxy.